Hello, I'm Will Bushy, the founder of Sioux Falls. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the other things that we do as part of Sioux Falls, and that is teach kids how to solder. Now this particular project is going to require some soldering in order to complete the Simon Says game, because as we have these little buttons with the LEDs, we are going to have to solder the components on. These buttons don't have any quick connectors on them, so they'll have to be soldered to the final project, which isn't a big deal, but in order to get the kids used to soldering, I bought a bunch of little tiny solder kits, and we'll have them spend one weekend and just build these kits. Now the kit that I bought this time is actually a little metal detector, and it works pretty well. I was actually surprised at how well it works. Now it's probably not going to find any gold in your backyard, but it definitely can detect a coin laying on a table as we swipe over it. So now this was a real interesting kit. This is one that I put together just to see how well it worked, and as you can see, it's got a nice little interesting coil on top, and then it's also got the little components and passives. So here's what was inside the kit. We've got a little PCB board, we've got some components, there's a little buzzer and an LED, presumably to indicate when you run the little metal detector over some metal. It's got 3 different size resistors, a couple little transistors, a little potentiometer, and a couple other components. This right here is a little screw terminal. This is going to be right here where you can plug in some battery leads or something. I didn't come with any battery case, although I do have some. Let's take a quick look at the PCB. Looks like it's very well done. It's got the traces already embedded in here for the coil, and the silk screen is very well labeled, and you'll see each of these resistors actually have the resistor value printed on, which is a nice touch. A lot of times they don't show what the values are, and you just kind of have to use a process of elimination in some cases, or guess. And then it's got a little screw terminal here to hold this down, and I'm wondering if maybe there's some 3D cases that you could print, so I'll go ahead and take a look at that. This has a number MDS-60. I don't know if that's a common number for these or not. But anyway, it looks kind of like a simple kit, very well organized. Let's go ahead and get that soldered together and see if it actually works. Here's the metal detector all soldered up, and it went together pretty well. It didn't take that long to solder. It's got the little buzzer and the LED, and this one, as a nice touch, has a little push button on it. On the back side, you can see here all the solder joints. A couple parts are a little bit tight, but just over by where that switch is, so it's not a big deal. I don't think kids are really going to have a hard time putting it together. So the big question was it going to work once we got it put together? So let's give it a shot here. I've got it plugged into this power bank, and it's currently turned on. So I've got obviously a lot of metal in the power bank. So let's run it over and see. Well, there you go. May not be the most sensitive metal detector in the world. Don't know if you'll find any gold, but definitely a cute little kit, a cute little project. I still need to look to see if there's a case that we can 3D print for it. I'm guessing there must be out there. I think that would be a nice little addition. And since it ran off of 5 volts, we could easily power it off of a little power bank. And it does have a sensitivity switch here. I didn't mess around with it too much, but we can attempt to adjust that as well. You can see it's mostly just picking up large amounts of metal, but definitely has a little sensitivity to it. So anyway, that project worked out really well. I think kids probably would really enjoy building their own little metal detector. The other nice thing about a project like this, since it just includes some transistors, you can easily explain the circuit and how it works and get a little bit deeper into the electronics rather than some of the ones that are just blinking LEDs. While they're exciting to solder and they may look like they're fun in the end, they don't have a lot of practical electronics use and knowledge. So this is a really neat little kit. I would highly recommend taking a look at it, and we'll see if the kids enjoy it. So that's the solder kit that we'll be using this time, and it's included as part of our Sioux Falls project. If that sounds like something your kids would be interested in, head over to HackSiouxFalls.com and get them signed up today. It costs $150, and that does include everything that they're going to need in order to build the Simon Says game, as well as the solder kit and the 6 weeks camp that we're going to be hosting. So head over to HackSiouxFalls.com. If you've got any questions, you can shoot me a message. I'll be happy to answer them, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.